the Elian Gonzalez taking by federal troops in Miami, and eventually he was sent back to Cuba? You know who engineered that? Assistant Attorney General Eric Holder. This man is dangerous, folks. And one other thing. Remember Marc Rich, the fugitive financier who embezzled tons and tons of money from the federal government? Well, he got a pardon hours before President Clinton left office. Hours, literally. And that was engineered once again by Eric Holder and Rich's former wife, Denise. We very much suspect that Denise Rich got the pardon, number one, because she gave President Clinton an awful lot of money for the Clinton Library in Little Rock, and number two, she had well, let's put it this way, big bazooms, size 42. So Eric Holder as Attorney General, I'm afraid, is going to be a real disaster for this country, and if we get attacked, like I think we're going to again, this is going to be mishandled badly. It will not be handled like the way President Bush handled the attack on 9/11 at the World Trade Center, the attack on the Pentagon, and of course that plane that went down in Pennsylvania that was probably headed for the White House or Capitol Hill, one or the other. Now let's talk about the new Secretary of State, the aforementioned Hilary Rodham Clinton. Isn't it funny that at his news conference on December 1st, President-elect Obama said to Hilary, a reporter asked him said to President-elect Obama that Hilary did not know anything about foreign governments and was not ready to be Secretary of State. Well, he kind of dismissed that, obviously. But there were two reasons why he nominated Hilary Rodham Clinton for Secretary of State. Number one, eliminate his opponent for re-election in 2012. And number two, to help Bill Clinton have a little fun while Hillary's on abroad doing the work for President Obama. Can you imagine what's going to be going on while Hillary's abroad? Can you imagine what Bill's going to be doing? Let's say Denise Rich comes over to Bill's apartment, to the Clinton apartment in Manhattan. Denise knocks on the door and says, "Hi, Mr. President, how are you?" And then Bill comes up to the door and said, "Hey, baby, come on in, Denise, you sexy goddess, you." Oh, I love your top. It's so wonderful. Denise, what do you say we go into the Clinton bedroom? It may not be the Lincoln bedroom, but it's pretty damn good. And what do you say we have a little hanky-panky on the bed? Because I want to see your legs in action. Hey, hey, hey. Look, that's what he does that with all the interns. He did that with all the interns at the White House. Yeah, he was a brilliant president, all right. He was brilliant with the interns. You can see why Hillary threw knickknacks at him all the time. Man, oh man. You know, the biggest mistake Hillary Rodham Clinton made, she could have been in the White House now as President of the United States if she had done one thing: divorce her husband. Well, that didn't happen. And now she's only going to be a Secretary of State instead of being the President of the United States. And finally, I want to talk about the news media. These MF, well, the American news media abdicated their public trusts and became cheerleaders for Democrats so badly in 2008 that it became a freaking joke. They wanted Obama to win so bad, and they got their wish. And you think they're going to criticize Obama? Hell no. Frankly, I think the news media ought to be taken by the balls and hung up somewhere, hanging by the balls, as far as I'm concerned. And the women in the media who think Obama's the greatest thing on earth, well, maybe hanging by their toes. They have really got their wish. They have ruined this country. And when my taxes go up, which they probably will in the Obama administration, and don't hear the phrase, we're going to tax people over $250,000. By the time this gets done, don't be a bit surprised. Everybody's going to be taxed huge in this country. It's going to be brutal. And and they're going to let in all these illegal aliens and make them American citizens. And then they're also going to outlaw conservative talk radio. That means only one side will be heard. It will get very ugly, folks. Conservatives are going to get really pissed off in this country with the Obama presidency. He's talking like a moderate right now, but you just wait till he takes office. It won't be that way. And the American people are going to find out what kind of man he is and what kind of party the Democrats have become in the 21st century. There are times I look at Democrats in the 21st century and they remind me of communists in the 1960s, for crying out loud. Now I can say that because I was around in the 1960s. I know, I saw this. And my dad was worked at Hughes Aircraft Company for 30 years in the fire prevention department. He wound up being the chief eventually for 7.5 years before he retired in 1985. And the fire prevention was part of the security department, and he saw all this stuff about security risks to this country. And this is where I sort of come from when I talk about security risks and things of that nature. And this is what the Democrat Party has come to. It's not fun to watch, and you ought to be embarrassed as an American. 48 million of us voted for John McCain. It's just too bad he didn't want the presidency as badly as Barack Obama did, and as badly as Sarah Palin wanted McCain to win. It's not honorable. You say it's honorable to lose? I don't think so anymore. In the era of 24-hour news channels, it's completely different. As far as I'm concerned, there are several things I think about politics now. Number one, screw Chicago. All the politicians in Chicago are crooks. I don't call it Crook County, Illinois for nothing. Number two, like I said earlier, hang the news media by the balls, and the women hang them by their toes. Hopefully they're polished. And number three, stuff George Soros, Peter Lewis, and MoveOn.org in 3 separate trash compactors. So hopefully, and make sure they're working, because these 3 ought to be stuffed in a trash compactor and get rid of them, because they've done more to damage this country than you can imagine. They got their guy in the White House, and we're all going to be paying for it for years to come. And if you don't believe me, when your taxes go way up and you start losing your freedoms more and more, well, don't come crying to me about it, because I'm going to say 5 words. See, I told you so. Think about that, will you? We got one more segment to go, and it's a goodbye segment. The Playa Vista Party Dog Show will be ending after our final segment. We will no longer do the show in this particular format. We'll tell you more about it when we return in a moment. You're watching the Playa Vista Party Dog Christmas Show with me, John Harber, right here on the Harber 2008 channel, only on YouTube. We'll be back to say goodbye in a moment.